Hello, footies, and welcome along to your Tuesday dose of Foot in Review, powered by Foot Coaching. Unfortunately, the sad news is this is going to be the last Tuesday club for the next wee while. Unfortunately, due to my other commitments and everyone else's, we may be having to take a hiatus. Hopefully, Dan and Shaq will return in the summer, but we do usually go down to one show a week in the next month or so anyway, so maybe those of you that have been with us for a wee while won't notice much difference. I am delighted, as always, on a Tuesday to be joined by an absolute hero, a legend of the Tuesday Club. This is Shaq. Shaq, how are we doing?
I am doing well. I think that's a lie. I'm actually struggling. I'm a bit under the weather, but got to do the last podcast together. So let's see. Hopefully we can do another one, squeeze another one next week. But if not, this could be a last hurrah.
It could be. What an absolute trooper. I know you've not been feeling well, so I appreciate you jumping on and committing to this. How's your week been? How has the last 7 days in foot been?
Oh, it's been pretty good, actually. I've enjoyed myself. I've started to enjoy my team. I've started to enjoy the players in there. Just started to tinker around with a couple of evolutions and just been trying different players and enjoying to the most part, I guess. What about you?
Yeah, it's been good. Rivals has been fun. I've tweaked my formation, which we'll come on to in our usual segment. So I'm on a different formation for once. We've had that massive SBC drop on Friday, which I completed. I think, was it Sunday maybe we completed without playing the game? So being market banned, it was a bit of a challenge. So I had to use 300k worth of coins, but it seems worth it. So yeah, quite excited to get into this over the next half hour, 45 minutes or so. But yeah, no, that's good. So Dream Chasers, is it true? What is your feeling on this SBC, this promo, sorry?
I don't think any of these cards are in packs because I certainly haven't backed any Dream Chasers. I lie. After my Champs rewards, I obviously got 2 Dream Chasers. I can't even remember which 2 I packed, but they weren't really that great. So there you go.
Yeah, I've had a couple, but they've been thrown into Gullit. So I think I've got Biggest Studder or something like that. I've had about 3 times, but that's the only one I've seen. But the main thing just now, Shaq, Evos, we talk about it weekly. I mean, there's been a few released, but this, is it Strike Partner, I think it's called?
Yep.
This Evo is crazy. Talk us through that.
I think one of the things I really want to call back to last week when you said the power curve is going a little bit crazy. And literally, I think you were slightly ahead of the curve with your conversation about the power curve because straight after that, we had 3 Playstyle Pluses icon that's just dropped everywhere. I think it's just really funny that we've got 3 Playstyle Plus icons, but we had 3 Playstyle Plus normal cards and 2 Playstyle Plus icons during Team of the Year. So it's a bit of a flip. And then straight after that, we had a 3 Playstyle Plus evolution with the... I think the evolution is probably really good in the sense that you are getting quite a lot bang for your buck considering the cards you're able to put into the evolution. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder whether if you spend coins, whether it's actually worth spending 500,000 coins on this evolution right now, considering TOTS is literally less than a month away, and then there'll be 3 Playstyle Pluses all over the shop. So that's the part that... So I wouldn't really be keen on doing any random card through this evolution, but if you have a particular R9 lurking around in the club, or you have even a Suarez, I think Suarez or Torres, those kind of cards seem to be really good fun over the next month. So I think more than the evolution, I think it's the cards that fit into the evolution that has intrigued the community, and every single one is talking about this evolution simply because of the cards that fit into the evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, have you got your eye on a certain one? I know you're toying with spending a lot of coins to make somebody untradeable, but is there anyone that you're leaning towards?
I keep. It's not a flex by any means. I just feel like I will kick myself if I have an opportunity to actually buy an R9 from the market and Evo him. That'll be kind of cool. But also, having said that, like I said, TOTS is like a month away. There'll be dime a dozen cards that will be equal or better. And I think R9 is set to come as Dream Chasers, a card as well, which might be, obviously, it'll be very much more expensive, but within a month's time, that'll be very cheap as well. So, I mean, cheap in comparison, could be the same price as what I would be paying right now to buy the R9 off the market and Evo him. So I don't know. But I have my eyes set on Cruyff and Caballé, Nate. Suarez is the other one that I am considering.
Call yourself a Man United fan. I'm so
Hey, hey,
disappointed in
hey,
you.
hey. As I said last week, the only time with Suarez that I don't remember is his time at Liverpool. Every other time, Ajax, amazing. Barcelona, incredible.
Yeah, to
So
be
yeah,
fair, at Liverpool he was very good, but he was at Liverpool. But no, this Evo, for those of you who don't know, it gives a massive pace boost. It gives you finesse plus, I think, as well. I think
yeah,
if you link it right, it can give you the low driven shot plus.
correct.
It boosts, so it boosts the shooting. It's a slight boost on the passing, dribbling boost. It's a very good attacker one. I think it's mainly for strikers, but it gives them the left wing role as well, or position. Um, I'm doing Cruyff. I've started Cruyff, but I've linked him with the FUT birthday finale because it makes him a 95. Um, sorry, it makes him a 94, but it gives him tiki taka, the rocket, and finesse plus. Um,
Perfect.
but I'm going to use him as a cam. I think he'll be a very good cam. I'm like you. I would use him. I'd use a card, sorry, that you want to use that's a bit different. I put a lot of coins into Cruyff, or a lot of players into Cruyff,
Yeah.
so I want to make the most of using him because he's kind of so far off the curve just now as it is. So this is an amazing Evo, I think, to try and boost these cards that you've maybe used and can't use anymore. Brings them back to life, and you'll be very, very meta, I think. Anyway, especially a Cruyff, 5-star, 5-star. He's always got a bit of special juice as well.
Yeah, I literally play every year. I play for two cards. That's not Neymar and Cruyff. And right now, as I've mentioned every week, I've been evoing this Neymar that's all just got evoed again, and he's just incredible in game. And literally, if I evo Cruyff, he'll have to take Neymar's spot. So that's the part I'm a little hesitant about. But otherwise, yeah, I'm really, 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 really happy. So I'm using this Neymar that I absolutely love, and I think Cruyff will be kind of an upgrade on Neymar, but I really don't want to replace Neymar. So I'm just going to take my time and see if I pack anything in the next couple of days or so. I will go ahead and use that player, but otherwise, I think it'll be either Cruyff. I think it'll be Cruyff. I mean, I just said Suarez in jest. It'll be Cruyff in the end. I'll also get a
Yeah.
review from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I've just started that. I'm kind of combining it with the rush objectives just now, so that could be quite interesting. But Cruyff with that extra bit of pace, I think, could be really nice. You touched on it a little bit there. The good thing about this Evo is there's so many good cards that fit it. I mean, if you just look at the eligible players just now, I'm not going to go into them all, obviously, but there's some really good names. You've got the 90 Ronaldo, as you said, the Tevez who I packed. That would be amazing. There's Clive that makes them a lot more usable. Just in terms of icons, Socrates, the Fernando Torres is getting a lot of hype just now as well.
Yeah.
He's good. Even the 90 Del Piero, Samuel Eto'o, like there's so many good cards here, and we have been begging EA to give you less restricted evos so that you can use some of these fun cards. We finally hit that. Is this a coincidence? Have they listened to us, or is it just because of these? These are kind of mainly base cards or sort of the lower end sort of promo cards early doors. Is it just
It
because
is.
that's where the power curve is?
It is a really interesting argument because if you notice, like the icons that we're receiving in packs are not really new icons. It's the same icons recycled with multiple versions. But Evos like this give you an opportunity to Evo a random icon from somewhere, even a base icon, even for example, Samueletto or things like that. So you can Evo a lot of icons. So uh, I think EA it's doing one of two things. One is they're kind of allowing us to be a little bit more in control of what we want to do and letting things be a little bit more free. But on the other hand, EA is getting us used to spending a whole heap of coins or FC points on evolutions. And that's the part that I'm starting to get a little bit. I've already spent a whole heap on evolutions this year. That I've done Osman Dembele that I've famously spoken about. Hardly ever use him. I did a Rafael Leao. Spent 300k. Didn't like him. Just threw him out. Just yeah, it was boring. I spent 300k. It's just I'm starting to spend a lot of coins on cards that I don't necessarily use. So I'm starting to be a little bit dubious with these evolutions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting one, and we've had the chat over the last few weeks about are these real or are they fake stats? If these are real, it's tremendous. I mean, EA have kind of have hit a bomb, haven't they? I know we joke about Suarez, But Suarez on face stats is pretty much identical to CR7, although they're obviously different body types. But they are so similar. CR7 was was he 3 mil or so, give or take, whereas you've got Suarez that's 125, 150k. So difference there, but obviously Suarez fits this Evo, so he could be mental. And same with CR7, you can Evo CR7 to almost better than the SBC, which a lot of people have done. So that's a bit mental. I mean, take a step back from just Evos at face value. We've talked, in the past about store packs, getting the big pulls, getting the big flares. Like, it's obviously we're so far into this game now, the cycle. Next year, it's almost saying to me the play is to hold your coins for Evos. If you start feeling like the stats are their actual stats and not these potential fake stats, like the play for me is Evos. Leave them as long as you can, chain them. At least you're getting certain players that you want that fit your play style. Get them to some of them are well above the power curve in certain respects if you can get the right chains. Like, I've never been one for buying players off the market anyway, apart from SBCs. But for me, this just screams Evos are how the game's kind of going now. Like, they'll try and give you these shiny cards, and they'll always have an Mbappe, a Messi, a Rafael, or someone in packs to try and tempt you. But if you get a base card or even like an older version promo, don't throw them into SBCs. Like, even with Gullit, I threw a few in that because my game time's going right downhill soon. But I still try and keep certain cards from promos or that have evoed, or certain ones that you can't get even if they're objective players, because these evos are going to be so vital, I think, to getting top tier ones, especially with the right chains.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think I have a controversial opinion as well. It could be reality in a couple of years, where I think where EA is going to take us is eventually you'll have evolutions that you can buy off the page as you're spending coins or FC points. But then the top 10 or top 20 cards that you can evolve will be part of the package. So for example, if I go into this evolution, I can go ahead and spend 1,000 points for the evolution, or I can spend 6,000 FC points on getting R9 and the evolution, as an example. And that's something that I don't see. We've spoken about this numerous times, where we'll have we will have players you can buy off the market. Sorry, you can buy players straight off with FC points. It doesn't seem right just buying players off the spending FC points and buying players, but using them through the Evo channel kind of makes it sort of palatable. So I really I think if not FC26, but FC27, we'll start to be able to buy cards directly from the evolution space, and you will be spending. And look, between you and me, if majority of the people that are spending 4 or 5 million on buying Arna and Evoing him, if they could spend 4,000 or 5,000 FIFA FC points to try and buy him straight and get him evolved, I think a lot of people are going to do that, and that's a huge revenue source for EA.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there'd be swings and roundabouts to that. There's be people who are fortunate enough to be able to afford that.
Yeah.
Would it mean that, everyone, well, not everyone, but, if you get to say Div 3, Div 2 and higher, everyone may have an R9 or everyone may have an Mbappe, which, they're more common this year than ever, but still lots of people don't have them. But I wouldn't be against that. I think that's their way around, because obviously we've heard in the past the challenges to these sort of loot boxes and the gambling side of things. That could be the way of addressing it. And to be honest, I'd be for that, because if people are diehard and committed, then go for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather people spend money on something they know they're going to get than packs, which, I'm just a way to go on to that, the pack weight of side of things. But, it's definitely a lot better to try and get something that to get something that you want, rather than a pot shot. Even these guaranteed ones, I've seen lots of people do these guaranteed, 91 pluses or 90 pluses, and it's always the minimum rating, and it's always the ones that aren't particularly, meta, aren't popular. They're just kind of almost pack fillers, so they can say, we're giving you this 90 plus one, and you're getting a 90 rated terrible card. So, I mean, going back to, pack weight and stuff, we've seen a few SBCs. So obviously the guys on Friday spoke about the big one, Gullit, who me and Dan have done, and we're just waiting for Slow Coach Shaq to catch up. They have released one that I'm tempted to, but I've got absolutely no reason to, is Solskjaer, because Ollie's obviously a United legend. We've had Ben White, who actually looks a fairly good card. He's only 100k, so that's not a bad one. A 91 rated right back that can play centre back. anticipating slide tackle, looks very serviceable. Sergio Roberto, who looks very meh, right back, then go to centre mid, and he's one of those sort of the adage, I think, do him for a future Evo if he fits your squad. And Bayer as well, who's very fast, but again, he's got the low driven shot. But I don't know. I think compared to sort of Suarez and some of the others you got, I'd be staying clear. But the big thing for me, so Hullet is obviously what 5 million coins
Yep.
worth of cards, a lot of packs, a lot of squads, and they've actually got some decent packs back. Pack weight is horrific. Is pack weight horrific because they know a lot of people are going to be grinding, especially Hullet with some of these other SBCs. We've got some fairly good packs and objectives as well, and there's lots of objectives to be doing just now. There's the cup, there's a couple of players in the objectives. We've just got new rush objectives. Is this calculated by EA? Are they deliberately lowering the pack weight? Because there's some decent cards in packs. Obviously, the likes of Lucio and Lizarazu, even that Makalele, who's not expensive. He's 270k, but he looks very good as a CDM. But because there's so much to do, so much to grind, and obviously they've got the repeatable grind at the moment where you use the silver players to get the packs back, you can put them into packs. So menu grind is very good and very sort of plentiful just now. It's not fruitful.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Is this calculated? Are EA doing this on purpose so you don't get the high rated fodder, so you have to go to the store to get that last squad of Hullet done? Or they've got the store pack at the moment where I think it's 11, is it 90 pluses from different promos? Like, what's your thoughts on that? What are EA how have they come to this conclusion that this is the way to go?
Before I go on the rant about back weight, let me just also mention the fact that you mentioned Bayer, and I think there's even Katrina Macaria, who's really cheap to get done in the sense they're the same price as 92 rated fodders, but then they can be done with 84, 85 squads, and it's really good if you're doing the Hullet grind. It's really good to get these cards into your club so you can put them into Hullet. That's number one. Now, going back to this, I think one of the things that's really bugging me, I think we had this with, I think, the grassroots grind as well, when we had this grassroots grinds back where we churned in a lot of those SPCs, 25 SPCs a day, and literally get back nothing. Like literally, you just get basic non-rare golds and rare golds, and just keeps churning over and over again. Then even the player picks today, really bad. Like the back weight is dire. Open champs rewards, rivals rewards. I haven't seen a dream catcher apart from a guaranteed Dreamcatcher's pack. I don't think I've seen a Dreamcatcher. And even if you do see one, it's the base bare minimum one. And I think one of the things that Dan and I were mentioning, even you were talking about in a group chat, is when was the last time you actually saw a Rodri come out of your pack or a Bon Madi? Gold. I'm talking about the gold come out of the pack. There seems to be a cap on even fodder. It all stops at 88 rated. Barely, maybe Odegaard and Hegerberg at 89, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't go past that. And it's all literally calculated because people like me, I can't finish the 91 rated squads, and I'm constantly tempted to go to the store and open that 91 plus pack to try and just get some fodder. It's like convincing myself that if I can just throw a coin, roll the dice, probably get an R9 that I'm hoping for. Worst case scenario, I have fodder for Hullet. So it's a really clever strategy. And I think there's even a provision pack now in the store that Dan Wimby showed to me, which I opened for 200,000 coins. I can't remember what the contents of that provision pack was. 200,000 coins for a bunch of fodder cards. It's just that there's so many fodder cards in the store, but any of your other packs don't seem to have anything of weight, which is weird.
That's the second half premium rare gold provisions pack. So you get 11 rare gold players between 87 and 90, all tradable. Oh, sorry, all untradeable. So you can do that for you do that with the hope of, if you've got the 91s done, getting the fodder for the 89s and the 90s. And, towards the end of that grind, especially for Hullet, like you are throwing things in and you're having to think, 2, 3, 4 times, do I really want to sacrifice this card? I mean, I put one of my United past and presents in, and I'm kicking myself, but I put Ella Toon in because I can't even buy her back, obviously, but I was like, I wanted to keep her, but I also wanted Hullet done quickly. So you do have that. So I think you're right. I think it's calculated. I think it's very clever. I don't think it's necessarily right, because it would be so nice. I opened all those packs. I have to say I got 2 Haalands on the way, a couple of Hegerbergs, and the rest were sort of 84 tops. So it didn't really help me that much. But it would be nice. You do think that you're putting in this hefty grind. It's almost like EA owe us some sort of carrot that you're chasing this carrot. They've got to let you have a bite of this carrot so you can keep going. And it does get a little bit demoralizing when you're thinking, I'm doing this whole, and he's going to be very good. I mean, he probably last you the whole cycle if you want him to. Obviously, he'll fit an Evo probably after footies. I don't think any Evo is going to touch him until sort of footies or whatever promo they'll bring after footies. So I just think that there's got to be something there to kind of reward you for putting that grind in. And you're putting players that you've got sentimental sort of value with. People are putting hard-earned coins, hard-earned cash into this. So it would be so nice to say, like from EA, to say, here you go. We're not giving you, a Lucio, but here's a, I don't know, here's a Prince, here's a Beckenbauer, here's a Makalele, someone that's, not the absolute top, but also well done for this grind. I just think that there's got to be something going back as well. And I say that as somebody that's already done it. So although I want something back, I'm obviously not taking the huff too much and not done it. But it just feels a bit, I don't know, a bit cold almost from EA.
Yeah. I would just be happy with fodder. I really would be happy with fodder at this point in time. And I think even the grind that we have right now, the dream catchers, sorry, I don't know what the actual grind is, but you do the silver cards, you get the silver pack, and then you put those silvers into the dream chasers grind, and then get absolutely nothing. And then the gold, 11 gold players pack, that gives you nothing. And then the player picks gives you nothing. I think last year we had exchanges that really corrupted our minds as to how we can grind these SBCs, and we just assumed that we had that grind still in the back of our palms, but we don't necessarily have that, because I've spent a whole day yesterday and bits of today trying to grind hold it, and I don't think I've made a dent in any squad. Like 2 days of grinding, not a dent in one squad. That's weird. Yeah. That is a bit weird.
It is. I mean, for those of you that are listening to this and they're still looking, I'd highly recommend, if you've got the lower end fodder, doing the campaign packs, even doing the hero packs, because if you get some of the higher rated ones, because obviously that's in that gap between, you can't really add to the Gullit squads. So if you got the 84s, 85s, put them into these picks. At least if you get, especially the campaign ones, if you get a 92, 93, that boosts your overall rating so far that it does make it a lot easier. And I have to say, I used a lot of fodder on these picks. Good so shot. I try and get high rated ones, and you could easily buy them off the market, but you don't want to spend coins. If you're getting 84s back, you'd be as well using them somewhere. And we do get these 84 times 5s, which again, I did was it 4 of them we get last night? I think 86 was my highest rated. Yeah. But even those ones are pretty dire. And I say this now, knowing that fine well they come back tonight, and I will absolutely do it again. And I'll be really annoyed again, 10 minutes after opening that, all I got was 86s. But talking about, so the menu grind, I mean, we have asked for the menu grind. How do you feel about the current state of this, like the menu grind? If the pack weight was a little bit better, I mean, we can't control that, but obviously we've been asking for things to do. But are you happy with what they've sort of chucked at us in terms of the ability to chase these kind of cards?
Yeah, I think they're trying, but it's become like a full-time job to try and complete that on a daily basis. 25 SBCs a day and 11 gold players packs a day, and my club's dry of silvers, my club's dry of bronzes. I have a lot of non-rare golds, but I've got nowhere to put them apart from gold upgrades. So it's just, I think you can keep grinding with no success. I've been trying to grind, and I really haven't had any success in gathering any momentum from these packs. So the easiest thing is to go to the store. Whereas I think we need to have something. I think hopefully we get like a 83-14 or 85-10. Oh, that would be great. 85-10 would be amazing right now.
Yeah, it would be, but unfortunately, I do not see that coming at all. I think EA will be looking, saying that's going to make Gullit a lot quicker to do for a lot of people. So I'd love to see the 83-14 come back, I think, to pad out the squad a little bit more. I would love that. I think 84 times 5, when you're only getting 84, 85, 86s back, you can't even really complete the next one with your dupes, because you're struggling. Whereas at least the 83 times 14, it's almost like a continuous cycle. You'll get the odd bit of fodder that you put in your SBC storage. 83s, 84s go straight back into that, and you're laughing. So it's an interesting one, because I don't want to be too critical, because they are giving us ways to grind and things to do, but at the same time, pack weight being so low, it's almost a bit like, what is the point? And
Yeah.
I did all the cup yesterday. I finished rivals. I think I did about 5 stages of the, when you play with the three Dumbaya, Jovino,
Yeah.
and the other one as well. They give you really good packs back. I did all that in the cup. I just used those three as my front three, which is a really good way to do the play. I think it's play up to 25 games or something. Got nothing back from that. So yeah, they just loosen those strings a little bit, EA, please. Give us a little
Yeah.
bit more to play with. Make it a little bit more fun. But no, that's I do think they are trying to give us something without giving us anything at the same time. It's a bit like, I don't know if you heard Roy Keane talking about Bruno Fernandes's fake press. He says he does a lot of movement without actually doing anything in the press. And, that just reminds me a little bit like this. EA are doing lots and lots to give us things without actually giving us anything at all.
That is true. That's a really apt statement of where we are right now. There's a lot of things to do, but the end result is nothing.
Exactly. Shaq, going back to last week, we followed up the previous Friday club talking about this new low-driven shot playstyle. Now we've had an extra week, because obviously it was only in a few days before we recorded. You've had it's almost been, a week and a half, nearly 2 weeks since it was released. What are your thoughts on it, and have EA got this right?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think one of the things that credit where credit is due, they've actually refreshed the gameplay a little bit because of the low drivens. And I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we had the Shadow Striker Plus Plus. It's kind of given you something extra to play with, some more tools in your war chest as such to try and use on the pitch. And the low driven shots are a lot of fun. It's just about figuring out the angles that you can do it with and having the people on the wing that can do it. And it's a lot of fun. It's very accurate. It gives you a bit of a buzz when it goes in. It's like when we were hitting those power shots at the start of the year, or when we did finesse shots last year. That thrill that you get. I'm getting that with low driven shots. And I think some of the players like Rodman or Adiemi, for example, those are the two I have in my club. Their low drivens are so much fun with them. So much fun. What about you?
I love it. I do love it. Like I said, I've only got Musiala with it, but I'm quite happy having that mix of low driven and finesse. I think I wouldn't count solely on low driven, because when people start to figure it out a little bit more, they'll make it a lot harder. So I still like my finesses from outside the box as well. I just think that it's like we spoke last week. I still think that low driven inside the box and finesse from outside seems to be the play for me. But I have been noticing on socials on a few streamers and in our own group chat as well. I mean, Dan's had a torrid time, I think, against low driven, and he's out there throwing tables and kicking kittens down the roads and everything, saying they need to nerf it. It's too strong. So I mean, people are trying to use it. Shaq, do you think it's overpowered? Do you think it's too strong, or do you think it's just that it's just really fun and people are kind of getting the most of it?
I think I don't. I think it's overpowered in the sense that when you get the angle right and you get the positioning right, it works really well. But it doesn't work sometimes as well, because you've got to get that just a tap, and it's really hard to just tap where you normally are used to, like scoring with at least 40 to 50% of your power bar. So it is a bit of a getting used to thing. Also, the angles have to be perfect. And one of the things I've been noticing over the past maybe 3 days, Casillas seems to be saving a lot more low drivens. I'm starting to notice that, and every time someone's got Casillas on, it's a bit harder to get those low drivens in. So yin and yang, it seems to be working at this point in time for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember who it was, but there was a few people on X that put out before his SBC expired. This is the goalkeeper you need to counter low driven shots. Do this SBC now. So I'm guessing a few people took heed of that. I did Casillas because I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Casillas was unreal for me in game anyway. Also, having an icon link as your goalkeeper, I've always been big on, because keepers are much of a muchness unless you have potentially best Courtois or Van der Sar, sometimes Schmeichel as well. But I like having that icon link as a goalkeeper. So Casillas has done well for me pretty much throughout. He did have a 2 or 3 day period where he decided to fall over the ball and let things through his armpit. But apart from that, I think that was that's up there for me with FC25 sort of best value SBC so far.
I agree completely. Completely agree. I think Casillas is worth every coin. And it's been a while. I've done it at Team of the Year, still using him, and yeah, pretty happy. He does some funny things, but I think every goalkeeper does funny things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the way that they seem to be coded in the game. It's
Yeah.
not even just this year, to be fair. Um, so full circle, going back round, we've spoken obviously about this promo. There's some very nice cards, but there's not, there's not a dearth of unreal and must-haves. The prices of them reflect that they're still very low, considering the pack weight is low. You'd think the prices would be higher, but they're not incredibly high on most of them. We've spoken about Evos. So power curve, where do you see it going? I mean, obviously this is going to be our last, probably the last time me and you were on in FC 25. Do you see, we're now getting 94, 95 rated SBCs. Oh, not SBC, sorry, Evos. There's only, up to 99, which usually comes at the very end of the cycle. Are we gonna get the final 3-figure rating? Are they just gonna kind of cap it and bring in more play styles or more roles? Like, how do you see this now sort of developing over the next probably 2 months until footies?
I am really curious what they do with Team of the Season, because it has to be 3 play styles at a minimum. But I think by then 3 play styles will feel very ordinary, because we already had 3 play styles during Team of the Year, and then we had 3 play styles right now. So Team of the Season could even be 4. I don't know. I think they've really. I don't know how they can keep exponentially improving the power curve, because it's not going organically higher. It's just shooting higher and then just waffling along, and then shooting higher and waffling along, rather than a linear growth, like just slowly going up. It's a weird way that they've handled the power curve. I think you really spoke to it last week, and straight after that we had a couple of SBCs that were 3 playstyle pluses, icons with 3 playstyle pluses, Evos with 3 playstyle pluses. So where to from here, I really don't know. I wouldn't want to be EA right now, because at some point in time it just feels like they won't be able to excite us anymore. It's just, how much more can you make? How much more exciting can you make it?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my thought, because maybe not in this year's cycle, but if they keep going the way that they're going in FC 27, by the time we get to Christmas, that each player is going to have about 5 or 6 playstyle pluses before. And for me, the excitement is getting the players with the right blend for your style, the right play styles in certain areas. But if, you're seeing it with Evos to a certain degree, that we're getting lots of players because they're capped. Stats are almost becoming a little bit
Yep.
pointless or a bit meaningless. And it's all about, the roles, the body frame, the height, all this type of thing where, you know, I just worry that we're going to start getting into the position where everyone's got very, very samey players. We're already seeing the 4-2-1-3 being probably 90% of the formation used, which is why I've decided to turn off it. We're seeing a lot of the same cards being put through Evos. To be fair to them, this latest one, you are seeing so many cool options for it. I've not really played Rivals since they've launched this Evo, so I don't really know in terms of who's doing what with it. But I do worry that we're going to end up almost kind of backing ourselves into a corner. I say ourselves as the wider, FC collective, but we'll be in a bit of a corner where it's just going to feel really stale and samey. And maybe that's a good thing, because there will be a skill gap then, because if we've all got the same, lots of people use the same formations, we've got the same players with the same builds, then it is down to purely who's a better player. But I quite like having, the different players and coming up against different things and trying to test yourself in that way as well. But I don't know how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a funny one, because uh, I think losing to a meta squad, you can always complain and say, yeah, this guy's a credit card FC. But losing to a random evolution squad makes you feel really crappy sometimes, because you just know the opposition is having a great time evoing this random team and having a great. It's working out. So I really don't know how. I think the squad variety is really high. I like every now and then. For example, right now I'm seeing a lot of Robbie Keanes. It's not the regular Robbie Keane. It's not the special Robbie Keane. It's a weird Evo version of Robbie Keane, who's incredible in game. I'm seeing a lot of Di Natales. Not again an Evo version of Di Natale. It's all these Evos, which are kind of cool. It is kind of cool. It's cards that I don't necessarily think of. Like, we haven't spoken about a Robbie Keane, but I've come across him multiple times this past week in Champs, and he was really good.
No, that's
So
good.
it's
That's let's hope that people keep going that way. And I'm hellish at trying to follow the meta in a way, but then trying to do my own wee stamp on it as well. But you look through my squad, and I do have, I've got Henry and CR7 up top. I've got a Hullet in there. My defense, I've got Mendy at left back because I can't seem to find anyone better than him really just now. And I've got Casillas in goal, so I do kind of follow the crowd. But then I've got Trent Alexander-Arnold playing it right centre back. I've got Musiala, who isn't really. I've not really come up against him at all. I don't think, apart from in rush. So it's hard, and you do keep thinking I need to try and be different. But my worry is that we're all going to end up going the same way. So that may come down to Evos if they, we've said that they've done a better job this time in opening it up. We've asked for that early on to give you a bit more creative license and use sort of a wider pool. So maybe they'll go that way. Who knows? Shaq, just to carry on our normal Tuesday tradition, I
Yep.
want to firstly start with. Hold on, if I can get the right button.
Formation focus.
I am going to jump the gun first, seeing as I know that I've actually changed up for once. I've had weeks and weeks of talking about 4-2-1, 4-2-1-3 and 4-3-2-1. I have gone back to my FIFA 23-24 days. Shaq, I am now playing a 4-2-2. I quite like it. I've done it out of necessity to accommodate players more than anything else. I wanted to have Henry and CR7 as strikers. I had Henry as a winger, and I just didn't think that he kind of benefited from that as much. So I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. I've got my two CDMs are both on deep lying playmakers. I think one's roam and one's build up. I think, or one's build up and one's defend. I've got one cam on playmaker and one on shadow striker. Defensive, unfortunately, they're all fullback and defend because we've got the 4-2-1-3 meta, and I've kind of just got to pin them in, hoping that I won't get countered. But I love this formation. It seems to be coping with the 4-2-1-3 fairly well. Not every time. The triangles are back. The passing options are plentiful. It'll be interesting to see once I put Hullet in into my CDM if he makes that big difference. I'll play him next to Trent. I played Maradona as the shadow striker because he's got finesse plus and that incisive pass, which I love. However, when Cruyff gets completed, I'll be firing Cruyff in. But I don't see 4-2-2 that much anymore, so I'm guessing it's not the in thing, but it's really fun to go back to.
I've seen a couple of people mention 4-2-2 right now. I think a lot of people are using Hullet in that position as well, in the cam position as a shadow striker, and that is quite effective because you can defend from the front with his body size, and Hullet's shots are incredible. I used the lawn, and his shooting is insane. Close to the box or inside the box, it's insane. But he's a big frame, so he's not agile enough for the way you probably want to play. But yeah, I think a lot of people are using the 4-2-2 right now, and a lot of people are talking about the 4-2-2. So it's refreshing to try something different to 4-2-1-3 because I think every out of the 15 games I played in champs, maybe 14 were 4-2-1-3.
Yeah, I just find it everywhere, and
Yeah.
I would happily play Hullet further up. I think if I played a 4-2-3-1, he would probably be my central cam because I do like to still get crosses in, and you can't really beat him in the air. But I just think that he's got good defensive stats ability, and if you get him on, I might move him. I don't know what roles if you can get him on box to box from CDM, but I might try and get him more of an attacking kind of nuisance as well. But what are you using just now, Shaq? Are you with the sheep, or are you with the herd? Sorry, or are you something a bit different?
I'm still using the 4-2-3-1 that I've crafted from John to you to my own tweak, which I'm loving. It works really well. But I have been when I go ahead in games, I just go for hell for leather, or when I go behind in games, like I really need to catch up, I started using a 4-1-2-1-2 with both the fullbacks on attacking wing backs. I have Theo and Cafu, and it's a lot of fun. It is very you just pretty much put everything. You just put defense on the back burner and just go attack, and it really overwhelms your opposition. And it's kind of fun as well because they suddenly don't expect that to hit them, and has been working. It has been really working. It just throws them off, especially at the start of the second half. I just switch it up in 4-1-2-1-2, and it's a really effective formation, even for a half. Or if you want to, don't know if I would start with it because it is really attacking. but I really want to tweak it in such a way that I can start using it from the start. A little bit more cautious than what it is right now, but there is some depth to it. There is definitely some depth to it.
I love that. I love the fact that you're thinking outside the box, and you're wanting to find your own formations and ways of doing it. I think that's brilliant, and that's what this game's about. I think I like to see what kind of you always know that 4-2-1-3 is going to be good because everyone's using it, but then you're thinking, how do I make this my own? And that's what I did with the 4-2-3-1 originally. But then I just feel bad because Henry can't play left mid. You don't really want to drop Henry. You don't want to drop Ronaldo.
No.
Like, it's almost like I've got these players. I've got to shoehorn them in a little bit, and it's probably to my detriment that I'm not doing the formation that suits me as much. But at the same time, it's almost a bit like, well, especially with limited game time, I want to kind of make the most of these fun players. Finally, before we wrap up our emotional potential last Tuesday Club Shaq, we have one more usual thing, and we'll throw back to our good pal Dan, who's abandoned us for however many months.
Player in review.
Shaq, do you have a player today that you want to talk about?
I really have a good player. Now, shout out to Dan as well. And the player that I have is, you'd be proud of me for this one. It's Paul Scholes. It's one of the evolutions of Paul Scholes. The 99 passing one, the Winter Wildcard one with the, he's so good. He's my sub when Neymar gets tired. I just bring him on. And his passing is, as from a cam position, because he's got the cam as well as part of that evolution, his passing is so sublime. Like, once you get used to the angles and you realize he can't make a mistake, as long as your body is in the right shape, you can't make a mistake with his passing. And some of the passes he picks out, like, I don't really care if I score a goal or not. I just am excited with the fact that I'm getting those passes through. And I think I used it for almost maybe 80% of my champs games as a sub. And I think I was looking forward to Neymar getting tired so I can bring him on to try it. And he was a lot of fun. So if that Evo, I think that Evo is still out there. If you have a Scholes lying around, just Evo him. He is incredible in that cam position. And shout out to Dan for that, because he suggested it.
Oh, no, we don't give him any plaudits in this last one. Come on. We can't be too nice to him. No, that's a great shout. Obviously, a man after my own heart with a Scholesy one. My one's a Premier League player. However, it's not a United player. It's Ledley King, who I wish his knees were better and he could have played for us. But his foot birthday one, I've thrown in more for the links than anything. And I think I put Alaba, who I was using last time, I threw him into Gullit. So I thought, I'm going to give Ledley King a run out. The guy is an absolute monster, by the way. Like, I don't know whether it's his build, his frame, or something. He's lengthy, he's stocky and tall, 6'2", obviously 5'5", but he's like a brick wall. You just can't get past him. He's so good. His passing's 75, so it's not tremendous. So you can't really build out too much from the back with him. However, he's just, if you just want a pure defender, he is so much fun. So he's now under 100k. He's dropped a wee bit. So I'd recommend him if you're looking for a fairly cheap centre back. Obviously with the hero links, he is tremendous. I am going to go to the dark side. I think I've got the Defender Evo, which expires in a week or something. So I've got Base Company. So I think I might throw Base Company into that Evo, because I think he looks like he could be excellent too. I did have the version up, but again, he went into Gullit, so I kept the base so I could Evo him, because Company in the game is usually very good as well. So yeah. I think that might be well worth it for me. Before we completely wrap up, Shaq, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, looking forward to your updates in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be sure to share them around our wonderful Discord as well. We've not plugged that at all. So for those of you out there, we do have a free Discord. Come and find us in there. We talk all things foot. We've got a funny section. We've got a normal football section. We talk just normal everyday stuff as well. So come and find us in there. If you'd like to support the pod, patreon.com/futinreview. Every little bit's appreciated to keep this show running. Hopefully we'll be able to, add in a few ad hoc ones as and when time allows, Shaq. But for those of you listening, keep your eyes peeled to the socials, and John may record to give a bit more of an update when we've kind of figured things out a little bit more. But as I say, I think the plan at the moment is to go down to one show a day. But John will be one show a week. Sorry, yeah, one a day was what we used to do, and that was
Yeah.
that was wild. That was absolutely manic. So sorry, one show a week. Obviously we've got a hosting crew, so if something major drops, there will be people jumping on as and when to discuss. Although, you know, fortunately, unfortunately, however you want to look at it, EA have got a lot better with their mistakes. They're not dropping an awful lot of clangers just now, so we'll just need to wait and see. But if we don't catch anybody, you know, have a nice summer, have a nice Christmas from me. But no, I'll hopefully keep you guys updated. It'll be lovely to catch up with everyone in the Discord. So enjoy the game. Do not get as frustrated as we always seem to do, because we like a good rant, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
But Shaq, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. One thing left to do.
Drop it.
We are going to drop it.
Drop it.
F-U.
T.
F-U.
T.
F-F-F-U.
T.
F-U. T.
T.
T. Interview. F-U.
T.